We are on the north side of the Silver Creek, which runs through the southern part of my land. The Silver Creek is about a half a mile long right here, but then it leaves my land, goes down into the National Forest, and comes back onto the land way on the west side over there. We don't access this creek very much at all. It's more just here in a natural state. I know the nieces and nephews come down here once in a while and try fishing in a couple of the holes. And what I've done under a USDA NRCS EQIP program is install 38 wood duck houses, both along the Silver Creek here and along an unnamed stream through the center part of the land. Wood duck houses were made from native sawn white pine that I salvaged on the land and forwarded to the cabin and had sawn into dimensional lumber. Also built some bat houses and Leopold benches and picnic tables out of the native sawn pine. Along the Silver Creek here is part of the Conservation Stewardship Program, and that's another NRCS program, USDA program. We expanded the RMZ zone, river management zone, to 150 feet on each side of the creek. And in there they want you to maintain one or snag or den tree per acre and control any invasives in there and not operate any machinery in the RMZ zone. So it's kind of nice to just set this aside and let it develop naturally.
Riparian management zones are areas of special harvesting guidelines next to streams. In this case, Silver Creek is in the largest category, which would be the same as designated trout streams and lakes, which requires a 100-foot area where there's special management guidelines, like 60 feet basal area, equipment operating rules. This stream is approximately 25 to 30 feet wide in areas and has an extensive floodplain, which is one of the reasons that Chuck and his harvesting has stayed even above the 100 feet and actually extended it to the 150-foot mark. In the past, he's done management on both sides and even allowed neighbors to do harvesting and allowed access on this creek, across, and other creeks on his property. So that really cuts down and minimizes the number of crossings that have to be done. So riparian management zones are in place to allow water to soak into the ground. There's 5 principles of ecological benefit for a riparian management zone, one of those being allow water to soak into there, allow for food and habitat. Chuck is blessed here with really rare of super canopy white pines that allow for nesting of eagles and other stuff that utilizes the stream corridor here. So if any landowners are thinking about crossing this, just like Chuck and his forester did, they can either reach out to me at the DNR or county level water management specialists can get in contact for having to figure out where and when to cross these and what types of permits are needed. The permit system can be kind of hard to navigate for landowners, but reaching out to the department through either myself or a water management specialist can be the next step in getting a harvest done on the opposite side of a stream.
Chuck was fortunate to have an NHI, which NHI stands for Natural Heritage Inventory, and it's a database that's kept here in Wisconsin that lists all of the threatened and endangered resources that are known in the state and where those resources are located. And that information is all confidential, and the DNR maintains that database through the Bureau of Endangered Resources. So Chuck was able to get an NHI assessment done for his property here along the stream, and in this general area, they know that there are a few threatened and endangered resources. One is the northern goshawk, which comes down this far south occasionally and could be nesting in this area because there's appropriate habitat for that bird, and it's been observed in this area in the past. Also the red-shouldered hawk, which is considered threatened in Wisconsin and nests along streamways and low moist areas in large mature hardwood forests, and Chuck has that right along the stream here. And the other one is a reptile, the wood turtle, which is considered endangered in Wisconsin. And Chuck has actually found a carapace of the turtle, the empty shell. He's never observed a living one here, but they are known to be in this area. And so any forestry work that's done or any stream crossings or anything like that needs to consider the needs of those threatened resources that could be in the area and address those before any work is done. And that's done with an NHI review. If you're a landowner, you can work with a forester to get that done. Any cooperating forester in the state of Wisconsin can help you get that NHI review done, or you can contact the Bureau of Endangered Resources directly and have that done as the landowner. So that's something to consider when you're working along streams like this, that there's a possibility there may be some threatened and endangered resources that you want to consider and protect as a part of the work that you're doing along that stream.
Since my road system comes down very close to the Silver Creek here, I was contacted from the Forest Service and also the DNR. They wanted to do a stream survey to see what type of fishery they had in the stream here, and I said, well, there's no problem with that. I'll get you right down next to the stream. And they did 2 surveys in there about 18 years apart, and accessed the stream from my road system with a shocker. And they did find in this section of the Silver Creek, it almost looks like it might hold trout, but it gets pretty low and warm. But they did shock a 30-inch and a 40-inch muskie in here, which came up from the South Fork of the Jump River in some holes on this river in here. So it doesn't have a lot of big fish in there. There's some smallmouth in there, but a lot of minnows and small panfish. So.